everything evolves. I think a big part of what drives you is, passion stems from purpose. You got to know what your purpose is. I think an issue is a lot of people don't figure out what their purpose is because they have the mindset of, once I know what I like doing, then I'm going to do it. The problem is, if you never tried it, how do you know if you like it or not? Does that make sense? For me, it started with when I started with company, I was 22. No kids, don't need to retire my parents, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't necessarily have that same driving motivation as somebody who, if they don't get the job done, they can't feed their daughter. Does that make sense? So in the very beginning for me, it was more so just proving other people wrong. There's a lot of negative motivation, people that told me I shouldn't do this and all that other stuff, and that's where it stemmed from. Then as time went on, that started to evolve because it no longer became about that. During my career here, after that, another big part of it for me, to be honest, was my dad moved here from Israel when he was 9 years old. When he moved here from Israel, he pretty much grew up with nothing, put himself through medical school, bust his ass, raising us, still works, right to this day, still works 6 days a week, 14-hour days, entire childhood, commuted 2 hours back and forth to work to operate for 12. So a lot of sacrifice to give us a lifestyle. The problem is, that sacrifice also comes at a cost, and that cost was that quality time with your family. So I wanted to make sure I can provide the same way as my dad, but I didn't want to have that same lifestyle where I wouldn't be able to physically be there because of providing. Does that make sense? So for me, when I first started here, again, started with negative motivation. Then from there, it started to evolve. I didn't necessarily have a why yet, so that's why I always talk about find your why not. And that's a big thing now that you're in leadership with people that are younger, starting out in the business, who are 22, 23. They're not going to have that driving why. Most of them don't have kids. They don't need, they might even be living with their parents. You know what I mean? So the why not is the mindset of what don't you want to have happen with your life? What kind of position do you not want to be in? I didn't know what the right company was or what the right direction to go in was. But what I did know is that I never want to be in a situation where financially I can't provide. And whether that providing is for myself or for kids, that's up to me to decide, but I want to have options. As time goes on, I never want to be constricted. I don't want to say, I wish I did this when I was younger. That way now I can have this situation. So if I end up with a yacht and mansion, great. If I end up with 5 kids, great. Either way, I'm never going to look at a price on a menu or diapers. Does that make sense? So it's almost like the game operation where I set a boundary for myself, and as long as I don't touch a border and hear that buzzing noise, I'm still in the game. So sometimes I'm going straight up, super motivated. Sometimes, having a little bit more fun, maybe a little bit slower on my path. But as long as I don't touch a wall, I'm good. I can keep. I'm at least progressing in the right direction. So I'm accomplishing my why not by moving in the right direction. Does that make sense? As things went on in the business, I started realizing that if it's only about money, it's going to become hollow. I'm 29. I was very, very fine financially off of Boston alone. I decided to do the North Carolina deal, the New York deal. It's not that I necessarily wanted to. It's just I felt useless. I'm 29. I don't need to be comfortable. If I'm comfortable now, then I'm missing out on a whole lot of comfort down the road, or comfort that I could give kids, grandkids, or grandkid kids. You know what I mean? So it's the mindset of, by me choosing comfort at 7 years into the deal, then that's me putting a lid on my entire organization and me saying, I'm okay with what I have because I made it to where I want to go. I'm going to rest. You guys figure it out. And in my mind, it's if you're that kind of leader, then you're not going to do a good job of developing success. People in your organization aren't going to be responding to the fact that you chose to not take on an opportunity because you're happy with your own income. Does that make sense? So sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do because it's the only way to provide for the people that you care about. That's what my dad did, and eventually all that action became what he enjoys. And it's, my mindset here is that same thing. So I think a big part of it is creating opportunity for others. That's a big passion of mine. That's a big purpose of mine. But on a more personal and interconnecting level, it's the idea that I've always felt that I'm an instigator of change. So I'm that guy that'll keep poking you until you either punch me in the face or say thank you for your paycheck on Monday. I want to instigate something. If you're close to me, you cannot stay stagnant. I hate stale people, because when I'm stale, I don't want to be around myself. So It's the same mindset why I have a lot of different groups of friends who provide different things to my life. I have my business friends, my party friends, my travel friends, all different things. Some of them I talk and I get real deep in conversation with. Other ones are very surface encounters, and I'm good with that, and I need that. I can't only rely on the same people for everything, or else I'd feel stale, I feel bored, and I wouldn't be challenged to go out there and meet new people and continue to network and grow an organization. So, ultimately what it came down to is my passion and my purpose became aligned. My passion wasn't insurance. My passion was the fact that I want to be able to help people make changes. And I was able to do that, and it just so happens to be in an insurance company. So when you find a way to align things, it's easier to really drive forward. What motivates me here is I know the more people that I get in contact with, the more of an impact I can make. The more of an impact I can make, it will eventually pay me back on the back end financially. But for me, my success does not come from insurance conversations. That's our product, but the people are what sell the product. My success is in the development of the people. So to be able to reap the rewards of the insurance industry in a business and a position where I get to develop the people, that for me is enough to really push and drive forward.